Baby-led weaning is so much more than just handing your little one a broccoli stick and hoping for the best. In this video, I will reveal 4 essential tips that will not only make sure that your baby's weaning journey is a huge success, but will also help prevent picky eating and establish a healthy relationship for your baby with food from the get-go. Tip 1 is that you need to be prepared. Now, one of the big deals about baby-led weaning is the fact that there's going to be a lot of mess. And I'm not going to lie to you, it is a messy process. But that's why you need to be prepared and you need to have the right kit. Number 1 and top of the list is the right high chair. You need one that is easy to clean. Not too many nooks and crannies, because trust me, the food will get everywhere. It also has to be in an upright position. Your baby should never be fed in a reclining position. So it's really important that you get that high chair right. Next, it's getting the right bib, smock or chair bib. So what we used to call pelican bibs, because they've got that scoop at the bottom, they are ideal for catching food, as well as smocks that have got full sleeves and come down a bit longer. And then you also get bibs that have like a tablecloth attached to them that go over the tray of the chair. And that can also make sure the food is more contained. On very hot weather, if you want to just feed your baby in a diaper and nothing else, I have known many parents who do that because it's a lot easier to clean up afterwards and you have a lot less dirty clothes. But always avoid a bib that's going to go over your baby's head. They find that really uncomfortable, but just with all the mess that's going to be around, you do not want to be pulling it over your baby's face and across their head. The next one, and this is an essential, is a splash mat. So this is a mat that you put under the high chair or under the table where they're eating, if they've got one of those high chairs that moves up to the table, and it catches all that food that's going to end up on the floor. It means that you don't have so much cleaning up to do with the floor afterwards. It doesn't get trodden into the floor and it's easy to gather it up and clean it afterwards. Now, when you're doing baby-led weaning, you don't have to never offer a spoon or a bowl or a plate. It doesn't have to go straight on the tray. You can actually offer your baby utensils. Spoons should be made of silicone and they should have a shallow bowl to them so that when they do manage to get some food on that bowl, it's easy to get off when it gets into their mouth. And bowls and plates should have suction pads on the bottom. It really will help you because you're not going to end up with the bowl being tipped over and thrown on the floor. And for every meal, make sure you've got a fresh face cloth and have it close at hand and ready for when you've finished. Try not to clean your baby's hands and face consistently throughout the meal. It can be very off-putting for them. It will make the feeding process stressful for them. And it's just better to have that one cloth ready, nice and clean, to go at the end of the meal where you can just wipe them all up, throw it in the wash, and then you've got a nice clean one for the next round. And finally, because I know I've already got to 5, here's number 6, and it's my little extra, and that is a crinkle cutter. It's not essential, it really isn't, but really useful. Crinkle cutters are great for cutting up foods that are slightly slippery, say like bananas, because it gives more of an easier surface for your little one to pick up. So there's my top list of essentials for baby-led weaning, and I'll put a link in the description box below so that you can see what my favourites are. Weaning your little one onto solids is a long process. It takes up to 6 months. So just bear in mind that baby-led weaning, or weaning of any description, is not about giving your baby less milk. It's about offering your baby the opportunity to explore and taste new foods. So to begin with, start with 1 meal a day and 1 type of food. Make sure you pick a time of day where there's not too much going on in the house, because loud noises and a lot of activity will distract your baby from concentrating on what they're meant to be eating and exploring. You should then apply the 3-day rule. Now this means that you offer the same type of food for 3 days. And if your baby's fine with that food, then you can introduce another one alongside that food. And then you wait another 3 days and so forth. Always leaving that gap so that should there be a chance that your baby's got an allergic reaction to any of those foods, you'll know immediately exactly which one it is. So these next 2 points really emphasize how important it is to get the timing right. First of all, you should offer the food when your baby is well rested. A tired baby will find it too frustrating and exhausting to experience and explore new foods. So a morning meal or a lunchtime meal are usually better than a meal later in the day. Also, you want your baby to be hungry but not starving. So I would suggest that you do not offer food immediately after a full feed, because they're just not going to be hungry enough. They're more likely to play with it rather than eat it, which is a great exploratory experience, but not really the aim of the game. And so if you wait about an hour after a milk feed, They're just about ready to be interested in something else to eat, but they're not ravenously hungry that they're going to get frustrated about the fact they might not have got the art of feeding themselves down just yet. And this final one, and it's very important, you must carry on giving your baby the age-appropriate amount of milk that they need in a 24-hour period. Up until the age of 12 months, they still need all that milk. It's still their main source of nutrition. As they gradually become more reliant and developmentally ready to rely on solid foods, they will naturally reduce the amount of milk that they take. Tip number 3, choose the right foods. The way you introduce foods to your baby will have a huge impact on the success of their baby-led weaning journey. Number 1, choose foods that can be easily chewed and that are soft. The rule of thumb is that if you take it between your finger and thumb and you squeeze it, it should be squishy. So that's nice, just the right texture for your baby to eat. You could also mix purees and solid foods together. It's not a hard and fast rule that baby-led weaning excludes purees completely. And a lot of parents like to mix it up. Now you can either spoon feed the purees yourself, or if you're prepared for the mess, and it will be messy, you can give them a spoon and a bowl and you can let them have a go. Either way, there's nothing wrong with offering your little one purees alongside solid food as well. Now, number 3 is it's really important that you keep a record of the foods that you've offered. You'll think you'll remember, but trust me, you won't. So always write down what you gave your baby on what day. And then if they did have a reaction to it, you can make a note of that as well. But also you can say maybe they didn't like it and you can try it again later. It's worth noting that sometimes you need to offer a baby a new food 10 to 20 times before they actually decide they like it. And that sounds like an awful lot, but it's proven that that is what is the case. Don't give up. Just because they didn't like it first time doesn't mean they're not going to like it in the future. I'm now going to recommend 2 websites. I'm not affiliated to these websites in any way. I just feel they are an invaluable resource for you that will give you so much information about the types of food you can offer, how to prepare them, at what age you can introduce them. The first one is Solid Starts, and they have a free database where you can click on any food and it gives you all the information about how to prepare it, what age you can offer it up, and how to cut it up even. I mean, it's just a really, really useful resource. And then the other one is Super Mini Eats. That one is packed full of really useful recipes, and they've got some really helpful tips about how to start the whole weaning process. And we will put a link in the description box below so that you've got access to those. The main premise of baby-led weaning is that your baby is allowed to explore the food that they are offered, how it tastes, how it smells, and how it feels. It's really important that your baby does not feel that they have to eat their meal quickly, that they've got plenty of time to explore in their own time. So if you've got a time limit and you need to be somewhere, that is not the time to introduce the food when you know you've got to be gone in 20 minutes. If you do put pressure on your little one to rush, it can run the risk of developing a bad association around food and meal times. Secondly, don't worry about how much your baby's eating. The baby-led mantra is that you, the parent, decide what they eat, but the baby decides how much they eat. And at this point, it is just all about them exploring the food. And finally, mealtimes aren't all just about eating. Ensure that your baby shares mealtimes with the family. It's really good for them to be part of that social interaction, to see people enjoying themselves around food. It develops a positive relationship with food, and they can watch everybody chat and include them in the chat as well. Even if they can't answer you, just make sure that you are paying them attention. It really is important to make it a social event for them. Now, don't forget those links in the description box below to my favourite pieces of baby-led weaning kit. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Goodbye.